What up, traders? What up, investors? I think we're live, actually. Are we live? Oh, snap. What's going on here? Let's see here. I think we are live. Testing. Oh, okay. Did you just get the live indicator here now? All right. Double checking the sound. Looking good. What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor. I was kind of mind struck here on the 10% move down here on Bitcoin futures here, down 5,000 plus, and really coming down pretty harsh here, about 10% here. Was quite interesting to see to hear, honestly. Broke through that 8 on EMA. Again, who knows what's going on here. Fish, what's up, Dave? Ryan, what's up, my friends? Let's go. Let's see how it's going. What is that, a gold cart chasing money? A race car chasing money. That's a funny emoji. I love it. Yeah, it looks like a lot of things are kind of mixed here. Like the NASDAQ is completely flat, which is that's okay. We don't want it down. Gold is up nearly 1%, and gold has slowly been climbing here and there. MJ, what's up, my friend? Has been going pretty consistent like that with the inflation kind of trade, especially with people talking about gold. Yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. A lot of people are from Elon Musk comments on how bullish he's on Doge compared to Bit, and how better the transactional rates are, and all the tech behind the coin is just substantially better. But yeah, it's quite interesting to say the least. Let's see here. Everything's fairly flat. It's just, again, the Bitcoin thing is just down a lot for whatever reasons. Like we know we had Tesla come out was it last week? Who were saying that or Elon actually came out and said that they're not taking Bitcoin anymore. So that was quite interesting there as well. Ryan said he's balls deep in some Tesla. Let's see how this one turns out this week. We kind of highlighted this one on the video yesterday or the day before. We talked about that 200 EMA here, which is that blue teal line here. We have some short-term support basically around the 580 to around the 557. The 557 is actually a Fibonacci level where it bounced off. It hit it by, let's see here. Let's look at this candle. It looks like it hit the low around 560-ish, and that level is around 557. So that's in the short term. Depending on how the market opens tomorrow, we could definitely see a rocket ship up, down, left, or right. We're definitely going to see chop again. We did see a lot of selling in May already. Can it continue? Sure, why not? It just depends on how the overall market wants to take us in the tide here. Especially looking here at the NASDAQ, if we are going to be printing higher, the next level we want to be looking at, let me just actually revert this to the QQQ to kind of give a little better perspective here. For the expected move for the week for the NASDAQ is going to be basically around $8.50. So that can easily potentially push us up back to that 330 to 330-ish dollar level, and we'll see on how that one plays out. And see, and if we do get that pump up, that little pretty nice little rocket ship higher from that move there. But the NASDAQ, again, we did fall quite a bit here from that high that we saw basically the end of April. So from that point all the way to the low of just last Wednesday, we had a low about nearly 7.82%. So that's a pretty strong kind of correction. It didn't go into that 10% or 10% plus range. That would kind of put us back below almost 310 to 320. I'm sorry, 312 to 310 would be that significant pullback to that range. And again, of course, it wasn't the 20%, which we would see a lot of the times with a very significant pullback or more of not even a crash. A normal correction is 5, maybe 10% is like a normal correction in the overall industries and the overall markets like the S&P 500, the Russell, and the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. But those are breaking substantially further. Those are when things can get really sticky, icky there. And Frank Elon Musk says, should I invest in the ticker symbol TATT? It's an Israeli defense stock skyrocketing. Yes. Yeah. So I own Raytheon stock. Yeah, this is definitely going to see some moves. I never heard of this stock, so I don't know the fundamental story behind this. And when I hit the analyze tab, nothing populates, so that's weird. Very, very spiky here. Not my favorite kind of chart. You can kind of see these, look at these astronomical moves higher here. Very spiky, so very potentially news driven. So I like RTX, so Raytheon Tech. Again, not just with missiles and their golden, what do they call it? The Guardian Shield or whatever, their air defense system as well. Very popular, especially within Israel. And seeing this kind of continue to climb higher again with a huge run just into Friday here. With earnings already behind us, it has been a very nice trend. The pullback buy would have been around that 21 EMA, between the 21 and 34 EMA. But this thing looks like it wants to continue to kind of climb here, looking for at least that 88-ish level here to potentially see if we can get that breakout in around that range there. Daniel, you're welcome. I don't know how many people did actually buy the Tesla with the Bitcoin, honestly. Roland One, what's up, my friend? NOK, knock knock. Yeah, this is interesting. So this again was a short squeeze stock early this year. Again, really kind of shows the absolutely craziness that we see in the market here. Going into like the weekly side, this is where we're kind of looking at. NOK is really, or Nokia is really close to that $5 range, which we saw previously pullbacks, at least here, and this is the weekly chart. So we potentially could see that happen. If you want it to continue to move higher, which I probably think it could, just because it's been down, beat out, and so forth, I think that if it holds and starts breaking above 5, we can easily maybe potentially see it start breaking to that 557, because this is, again, a little bit speculative, short-term speculative short squeeze trade, because again their earnings was a nice little boost higher there, so that has created somewhat of a base here, and we're just waiting for it to kind of start clearing above that $5 range. But yeah, definitely nothing I would throw my whole account into, but it's a very speculative trade. MVIS, that's the satellite company, right? Yeah, this one a little choppy here as well, Ryan. I think you already know that. And nothing too like insane. This is not the most like consistent trend that I like to follow, but definitely it's holding something around this 89 EMA, unless some very negative ill positive news comes out. I think that could potentially hold at least above that 1250 to maybe even the $12 level, and see how it breaks there. Dave, what's up? I said XLI. What is this? Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, I know this sector. Yeah, this trend. I know you and Pave have been huge holders of these kind of stocks, industrial stuff. Yeah, this thing looks super strong. Like, this thing is just continue to climb here. Look at that trend here. Pullback zones, like we talked about, is that 21 to 34 EMA, and this thing just continues to climb. The next overhead resistance is going to be looking for what's that? 108.50 potentially. And then PG, what does that say? PG what? PGNY. This one's a little bit more choppier, but again, you can see the pullbacks are pretty severe, but they're hitting off that 89 EMA here, potentially looking at. Looks like it did have just recently had earnings kind of gap down on that news. Maybe we would like to kind of see this base out here before we see and kind of just kind of level off here. And then NVO. Don't know this one, but that's that's a nice move there. Let me look on the weekly chart. Yeah, look at this on the weekly chart. This thing has been holding that 21 and 34 EMA fairly well. Really just kind of making a pretty strong breakout here on this little level around 75.60, and just really seeing it rocket ship higher there. That's a nice little trade. If you're in that, fantastic for you, man. It looks like it's probably hitting the 1272 in the short term here. Yep, looks like it hit that 1272 with that swing high to swing low here. Potentially, if it can continue to run, we're looking for around $81.70 to maybe start seeing some selling coming in from there. What do you think about SQ squares? Says a ooh, yikes, yeah. Again, we have to remember we have had pretty strong runs in a lot of these tech stocks and really seeing it being thrust into new all-time highs basically all of last year and the beginning of this year. And now we're kind of seeing things kind of level off here again. Fears of inflation, fears of taxes, fears of capital gains, fears of just lack of investment, and just fear a lot of just the growth stocks falling to the wayside because the value boys and girls are kind of rolling here. But this one, kind of like what we saw with Tesla, is kind of bouncing off that 200 EMA here initially. And it's not a full like a bounce because it didn't really hit to the T. It's just kind of hugging it right now and kind of holding on to a grasp here around that 202 to 200. It's basically going to be the level that we can potentially see. And you make a good point, Fish, on saying that SQ, very large component, very pro Bitcoin, definitely could see some sellers coming in because of that. It just doesn't mean it has to do anything like that. It just happens, and just people just kind of let it go just because of that reason, right? Again, we call those weak hands, we call those short-term hands, whatever. But yeah, a lot of things could be potentially breaking past the 200 EMA in the next coming days or so. Boo, boo, boo. Oh, Val, yes. Now we're talking about a value stock that's been doing fantastic. Look at this one. We talked about this base building up here. With that squeeze here, we saw it rocket above 18, made a nice continuously move higher and just continue to grind, hit that high around $23, pulling back here. So initially some pullback levels around $20.60 to basically almost $20 would be a potential good buy zone if nothing completely negative comes out of the company. Again, you will want to be something more positive. Again, the trend is your friend in this case, so we're looking for some support initially here around $20.60, potentially even down to that $20-ish range, and maybe see a bounce back or kind of recover there a little bit faster there. What do you think about SOS? Yeah, this one that was a hot flyer as well. A lot of these growth stocks rocketed chip higher and then just fizzled and fizzled and fizzled and fizzled and fizzled and fizzled and just continue to grind lower here, breaking into territory where it was on the breakout. So most likely all the weak hands are out of the stock, honestly. You can kind of see here on this little pump here on this volume day is most likely a lot of people potentially got out and just continue to see it grind lower and lower and lower here, coming into these ranges here, probably going to be breaking $3 in the near term. Let's see. Rip Docu. Yes. But you have to understand, DocuSign is a fantastic company. The sad thing is it just got way ahead of itself, honestly, with the huge movement that we saw. Like, look, this stock was trading before the pandemic around $60. And then of course everyone's like, oh, everything's shut down. How are we gonna do documents if we can't sign in person here? And then bada bing, bada bang, runs up to nearly $300 on these moves here. And fairly, you can kind of see here on the weekly chart, it really had a pretty substantial break here. Once it kind of broke below 215, 216, and then again when it's really breaking below 200. So that break below 200, and we're potentially going to be looking for a landing here. It's probably not going to be a soft landing around 170 ish range here if we can kind of see it coming through. We do have earnings coming out on the 6/3, so what's that, 3.5 weeks away. So we'll see on how if that one does level off. Ah, Franklin, my man, thank you for the $10, my friend. How's everyone doing with gas? I drove by a couple places. There's a couple gas stations here in Virginia still out of gas. I thought of that just the other day. or just what the price of oil here. What did I see? Do I have CL on here? I guess I don't. Yeah, oil's a nice little move there. Thank you again for the $10, my friend. LSPD. LSPD. Lightspeed. What is this one, right? Why is nothing loading today on top on Thinkorswim here? Yeah, there's nothing. I don't see Lightspeed POS. Not sure what this is. I literally had a chart on this. Like, look at this thing. It has hit that first extension around 1272 and around $83 here, and it has had a substantial amount of issues here trying to get above $71, and now it's kind of knocking on the door on the lower end of the band here, hitting out the 200 EMA, hitting a 618 extension around 54.92, aka the $55 range. Not sure what business this is. Super high IV, so this is a very strange company here. Weekly charts look like it's a newer company that came public in October. Do I know this? Should I know this, Ryan? What is this? Lightspeed. That sounds so familiar. What is this? I'm so confused here now. Lightspeed provides commercial ending software SaaS company for small and medium-sized business retailers and golf course operators. That's kind of weird. It's a SaaS platform, enables customers to engage with customers, manage operations, accept payments. Okay, so it's like a point of sales kind of thing. Okay, I gotcha. I understand now. If I understand that right. Very interesting. Yeah. Again, it had a huge run here. It is a little bit of trouble here because, again, if it starts breaking below that 55, we can see it tumble its way back down to 50, though. But if you have a price target in mind here on the daily chart here, if you see it holding above the higher 55s or mid 50s, mid 55-ish range, I think it'll be fine. But a $3 move, depending on what your risk to reward is pretty substantial here. So we could get a pretty significant pullback if things kind of do fall apart in the high growth, heavier kind of range there. Let's see here. Makeshift, what's up, my dude? I heard Turtle Beach is doing well. What's the ticker symbol for Turtle Beach? The headphone company, right? Ooh. KNBE. Ugh. That's looks like a newer stock that came out just a couple weeks ago. Definitely very beaten down here. Again, hasn't had a first earnings report yet, so that's coming out the 19th. So this week here, yeah, I don't like to touch these, especially if it's a newer company, and that's something I want to be very careful about on these. I have nothing to really say on this. There's not too much I can graph off of that chart there. Exxon, great there one. Vincent, my dude. Yeah, very Exxon. Is Exxon? Did I read that right, Vincent? Someone is trying to do some kind of like arbitrage or kind of shake the board up or kind of shake the Exxon model a little bit. Did I misread that? Exxon, even before the pandemic, it has been slightly downward trending. Again, people thought oil was dying. I'm in the camp of like, yeah, oil might go away, but it's not going away anytime soon. Let's be honest. That being said here, I think most people still drive gas cars. I think most of the world relies on gas, not just for car consumption or gasoline consumptions to drive the motors, but it's just so many different products around the world. So I think when people start saying, oh, we need to get rid of gas, it doesn't make 100% sense there. Anyways, XOM on the long-term side here on the weekly side, we are hitting some ranges around $62. So 62.50 was a range where we kind of broken down and kind of failed before. But with I think they increased the dividend, or they haven't touched the dividend, it's still 87 cents. With this potential, could get a little kick in the booty higher here to kind of break above that 62.55. If we can see that consistent movement and notion higher here, we could potentially see it maybe touch that 66 or 67 range in the short term, even going its way up to that $71 where it previously was before the pandemic, which I kind of see that could happen. Elon Musk and Anne Frankenstein, EDR is thoughts. EDR. Yeah, I can't say too much on this one. There's not too much to say. There's not much for me to chart on that one, my friend. What's up, Makeshift? Ken, are you going to be adding UWMC to long term? Wink, wink. UWMC. This is definitely one that needs to be a deep dive. Like, it makes sense. Like, the chart doesn't look great, but what I hear and read about what's happening in the housing industry, it makes sense, right? Like, this things should be doing well here. It's a newer stock. I think it needs to have maybe one more quarter to really kind of flush out some weak hands. Probably the weak hands have already been flushed out, to be quite honest, but this thing is just... This is something that I would like to probably just do covered calls on Makeshift. So if I would buy, I don't know, a couple hundred shares, then I could sell some calls against it. Looks like they do offer a dividend, so that's nothing too bad. I'm gonna look at it again. I know we talked about it previously when it was at the $14-15 range, but yeah, this has not been a fun holder for those longer term holder people. MJ, your message got restricted. I don't know if you pulled it. Makeshift is this, look at, oh, here is the Turtle Beach one. Yeah, gaming stuff is, yeah, it's not too bad, right? Let's again, it's the newer stock as well here. Slightly not as consistent trading as we like to see, but it's kind of treading water here, holding that between that 144 EMA here. So some pretty significant support around $25, and it's kind of trading sideways with a very up and down kind of pattern here. With earnings already behind us, I like to see that. Looking for potentially holding here in the short term. It looks like it has some kind of support around 26, but it has a little bit more significant support here because you have the purple parabolic SAR dots and the 144 EMA here at $25 here. So potentially, if we do get that kick higher here for whatever reasons, again, gaming, Turtle Beach makes a pretty decent headset because, again, I think they're more popular with console players. I've never seen them very gun-ho in the PC world, so it definitely gets a kick higher. Some initial resistance around $30 there. Let's see here. What's the ticker symbol for MicroStrategies there, my friend? Can you please take a look at Playboy? Yeah, we can look at Play. This is one I'm a little concerned about. I'm not saying it's going to come crashing down and things like that, but this has seen a pretty large, robust move here. It's coming in down to some initial support. We talk about the 21 to 34 EMA here. This is something that could be quite interesting to see if we do see a pretty strong rebound. So in the short term, we have some support here around $40. So if it does want to kick higher, we need to see it kind of play through here. Again, it had its very first earnings, so that's a good thing, and it didn't come crashing down. So I want to make sure It's that you understand that there. So initially speaking, very risky because the IV for me is a little bit high. So this might be a great candidate to sell some premium in these options here. Because again, you're seeing October, January's, and even July's, or sorry, yeah, June and July's, well over exceeding 100% IV. So very juicy potential selling of premium there at that stock. Paul, what's up, my friend? Hey, Ken. Hey, bud. Have you seen Apple in the last few days, weeks, sideways, driving me crazy? Yeah, Paul. Like again, this is the thing. Like I own Apple. I'm selling premium in Apple right now, and I love it because it's just trading sideways. The IV is not fantastic, but it's just because it just recently had earnings. But there is volatility in the market. It's just kind of trading sideways. Apple, initially speaking, here we have some pretty substantial support around $123.75. This is falling here on the 144 average, or the 144 EMA on the daily chart here. Initially speaking, this thing is gonna, again, it's the tech company in the world. It's a $2 trillion market cap. It definitely does what the F it wants. It's the big beast here. Really going to be trading next to next with the Nasdaq, especially on seeing how people value that. Initially speaking, here we have that support around, we told about 123 ish range here on the weekly chart here. We have bounced off that support level as well, so around that 122, 121 range. If we see that being touched again, that can be a little bit choppy here. Since we've seen a pullback in the market here, this is potentially going to be isolated issue, and just want to see it maybe just trade sideways before we do get that kick higher here. Because again, if we start breaking below 120, start closing below 120, that things when things could get a little bit concerning there. T-Dog taking another elevator down. Yeah. Another Kathy Woodstock there that she's a true believer in. Really just taking one on the chin for sure here. T-Doc, this thing has fantastic stock during the pandemic, right? Like everyone loved it. Went from basically $62 all the way up to nearly 230, actually at 308 at one point at the high of February here, and now seeing it continue to just to excel lower here on a pretty large miss here in the quarter here, because again, are people, I don't follow the quarter, so is it more less like people subscribing? Did they overpay for that acquisition they made? This does not look very pretty here. It's really breaking down well below the 200 EMA here on the weekly chart, and on the daily chart this just looks quite terrible, hitting an all-time low year to date here. Frankly, what's up, my friend? I'm not sure if anyone has posted this question yet. Any new news on Tesla? Did they talk about it yet? Or thanks for that. Yeah. So Tesla, we love Tesla here. Tesla, and we know our boy Elon does not keep his mouth shut, and he just tweets on whatever his heart desires. If it's about cryptos, it's about digging tunnels. Is it about the SEC is a bunch of morons, whatever. Like, and he just kind of tweets and does his own thing there, that's what FU money can do for you. I would be doing the same thing probably. With Tesla, the thing is I think a lot of people are just kind of waiting for the next catalyst, and is the next catalyst or the next large move going to be happening? Is it going to be the opening of the Berlin factory? Is it going to be the opening of the Texas factory? Is it the drop of the Roadster? Is it the drop of the semi-truck? I just think there's so many potential movers in the company and what they're doing. I think it's really hard to kind of trade it on a daily, week to week basis. You just have to have a little bit longer vision on it. Initially speaking, we are potentially hitting some support here around 580, and even to the shorter support around 557 here, which is not too strong. It's kind of falling into that previous bottom that we saw in in the first week of March there, Franklin. Could that be a double bottom here? Maybe, maybe not. It's very always hard to tell. It's always easier to tell after the fact, but it is somewhat setting up for that potential movement. The only catalyst is that if the Nasdaq and the growth stocks just continue to sell more or just sell off more, it's definitely going to take Tesla with it, and we could see it break that range and even maybe break 500 if we do see that selling pressure come in here. But as of right now, there's nothing in the books that is telling us that story right now. MSTR. Oh, thank you, Makeshift. MicroStrategy. Yeah. So this is a company. I believe this was the first company that went public, and they added Bitcoin to their balance sheet, I believe. With Bitcoin dropping, what is it at? Still up below 10% here. Probably this is going to take it with it. I'm pretty sure they got into Bitcoin when I was like, I don't know. They did it pretty early on, right? They added it, must have added it like the end of last year. I think it was like in October or November, if I remember reading it right. And like, this is, of course, has been just continue going higher. That being said, here it is. If it's breaking below the 488, that's going to be a level to potentially see it kind of crash here. We can do some very let's do some very. It's going to be a hard one to do some Fibonacci extensions on here. So we're going to do the swing high to swing low to high here again. It's hitting that 50% retracement. If we do see it break tomorrow and that selling continue, I think we can easily see this stock potentially hit $400. I'm not saying it's going to hit tomorrow, but if the selling continues and the Bitcoin really carries it lower and that 490-ish range doesn't hold, I think we can definitely see it lower. Welcome, MJ. Yeah, Frank, it's going to be a long, bumpy road. I'm not going to lie with you. Like, it's the number one stock that I get pinged about on, which I don't even really check Instagram, but I get it on Instagram, Discord quite a bit on people asking about Tesla. Which again, it's one of my favorite. It's my favorite stock to talk about. It's the company I enjoy the most. I understand the most. Besides Costco, Costco is another great stock that I know and love very much. Besides with Disney as well, this is the ones that I know pretty much inside and out. Because the reason why I do it, I know that so much, is because I own them and I study them, and I listen to all their earnings calls. It's super important to do that. Yeah, Tesla, we'll see. Because again, are they taking orders on the Plaid? I think I saw them taking orders. Like if I get the Model X order, have they? I don't know if they always did that. Did they always do that? Oh, they're not. They're not even saying estimation of time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought they had orders already. They're saying January to February. So the Model X Plaid, which is that newer, like it's pretty insane. It has that cool. Some people call it stupid, but I love it. I think it's like a yoke, almost like a airplane kind of scenario here, with it doesn't have that top mass part of the wheel here, which is you can't do that cool moment in the car when you're on the car like that. But you know what? It's still a Tesla. It's got like a gaming computer built inside of it. You can play games and have a controller. It's like flipping insane, right? Like it's how many other cars can do that? I know the Mercedes Benz actually did a pretty nice EV here. Let's see. I think I saw vehicles. Their EQ. There it is. Like this thing is pretty insane. Like their EQ model, this sedan that I saw was pretty interesting. It was insane on like the display. So this is like the whole front panel of the car, like not just where the speedometer and everything would be, or the in entertainment system is. The whole, even like the glove compartment box has a screen built into it. Like it's It's a very nice, but it's a Mercedes. Depends on people like that or not. Christopher, thank you for $2, my friend. AAL, yes. Get into the airlines, my friend. Yes. So I believe, which some people don't believe or agree with, I think that the pandemic, for the most part, is somewhat over. We have the raising of letting go of the mask from the CDC. We're potentially going to be seeing, especially more air travel coming in, more vacations, more people who have been kind of locked up, and people who have been fortunate enough to save are going to be looking out to go on vacation. So looking here at AA, we're seeing some potential support here around 22.17. If we do see that breakout, we could easily see that run up to 24 and maybe even touch that previous high around 26 in the near term if we get that pent up momentum. Which I sadly think that we will see this kind of somewhat of somewhat of a potential movement higher. Because again, if we go to the daily chart here, we're seeing this squeeze setting up here. The RSI is bending here. We have the volume zone oscillator going from has been negative, and it's popping its head out of the hole here and trying to go positive. So this thing could easily rip higher for what any kind of news pops out. You're seeing more discounted airways. The only thing is, I'm not 100% sure on AAL's traveling within the United States. They do a lot more international stuff, so I actually like Southwest a little bit better here, just because they're more domestic. They don't do international flights because, again, if you think about it for a little bit, like most people, if like, hey, I want to visit my family in Europe. Well, if you want to fly to Europe, you're gonna have to be in a hotel for like 10 days before you're able to get out of the hotel, and you have to be quarantined and stuff like that. So it's not many people are going international just because of that. And most people are going to be going to what? Disney World. They're going to be going to the beach this summer. They're going to fly and they're going to get the seat upgrades. They're going to get the premium sandwich on the airlines, all this fun stuff. I think that Love has a little bit of better play here. That's just my case there, Christopher, and my opinion. I think that Love, if this movement continues, we're going to see it above $63 to $64 in the near term on that move there. What? Southwest got flights to Hawaii? See you later, folks. No. I need to go to. I want to go to Hawaii. I promised my wife we should go to Hawaii on by our 5th wedding anniversary. It's our 6th wedding anniversary. We haven't gone to Hawaii yet. It's in the pipeline. It's in the pipe. It's on the roadmap. We're going to Hawaii. Yeah, Love. Another airline, if you just don't want to be Mr. Picky or Mrs. Picky on airlines, you can just own Jets, which is an ETF for all the airlines. It kind of mimics the same kind of pattern here. So if you don't want to be agnostic to all that. Crowd? You talking about CrowdStrike? Yeah, CrowdStrike was another fan favorite. Kind of been really beaten down here a little bit. Finding some support here around the 144 EMA. Go to Qua. Well, I'm not an expert though. Yeah, I'm not. I have nothing about Hawaii, like where to go, what to do. I was just told to go there. It's beautiful. GE is a stock that I'm looking at. Again, just gonna share some ideas. If you like them or not, whatever. I still like GE. It has been very choppy here. And has been holding around that 13.25 range for some time here. And we'll see on how this one kind of holds. If we can kind of see that momentum kick higher, which I think it could, we're looking for that break above 14. I'm really looking forward to potentially hit $15 by the end of the year, potentially. So we'll see on how that one plays out. I really like GE. Another manufacturer that I like a lot is the old Ford. I know make fun of their Ford Mustang SUV, which has nothing to do with the Mustang that came out in the 60s or whatever. Completely not a two-door coupe kind of sports car for the nurses. This thing is a the new Mustang is all about the EV market here. With Ford here kind of bottoming here a little bit around that 89 EMA and the 78.6 percentile move here. We're looking for some support here continuously around $11.50. I don't remember if Honey Badger was in this one as well with me. Ben, what's up, my friend? Hey, long time no see. How's it hanging? Another one which I want to make it completely apparent about is I'm fairly long IWM. And this is just this is just the Russell 2000 ETF, just like the QQQ and the SPY. I think IWM, if we start seeing the reopening play, the epicenter plays, the traveling, all these small kind of value play companies here in the United States, I think this has the best bang for buck here to kind of see this kind of potentially move higher here. I know it has definitely been a very beat down market and has already run quite a bit here, but I'm kind of having it in this box of purgatory here. Initially looking for some support here if it does pull back around 215. If it does not hold, then I have to look for some support around 205 to 204 in that range. But we're looking for this to break out, potentially test 235 and try to break to the 240 range here in the New Year term. Again, this is on the weekly chart, so this has been a pretty large astronomical move for the IWM stock section. Another one that a lot of you have asked about is Peloton. Yes, Peloton. Again, if you're not familiar with the company, they make those bikes with the iPads on them. They recalled all their treadmills and not selling them currently. They made that news a couple days prior to their earnings. Earnings did go a little bit negative here due to the fact of, again, more people are going to be potentially going to the normal gym or not re-upping their subscription and so forth. It is kind of making of a bounce here. It is hitting a key level around 97. If it starts breaking up back above 100, that could be kind of getting back their head back above water here. Really need to see it above 105 to really see that potential substantial move to stay in place here. But this thing was fairly beat down over a very short period of time here. Maybe just kind of creating a dead cat bounce here. Maybe we'll see if it does have the oomph to kind of stay above water here. I don't know many crypto ETFs. I know that I did own. Oh my gosh, I got out of it though. Oh, what was it? The Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. I just my mind just went blah. Daniel's asking for Home Depot. Yes, everyone wants to spend money on their house and buy flowers and buy that expensive wood. Home Depot, what a move, right? It does have earnings coming out the 19th. It's probably pre-market, right? They always do pre-market, yeah, before the market. So get your trades in by tomorrow, the close here. We'll see how this one performs. This has already had a astronomical run. So its last quarter was trading around 277. Now we're up to around 325. So very interesting one to kind of see here play out here, hitting that 100 the 34 EMA here around 320 here. The expected move for the week is going to be let's see here, $13.15. That's a pretty juicy of a move there. So we'll see on how that one pans out from that level there. But yeah, looking for a level, because again, hit that 1272 extension around 335 and kind of gave back. But with earnings, it's going to be very much a coin flip. So I'm just going to kind of trade in. Yeah, GBTC, that's the one. Thank you, Makeshift. Yeah, this is like the variable of Bitcoin. We got into this. I got into like maybe December-ish, and it was kind of been holding here, being kind of whipsawed around. I was only able to buy it in my small account because it was like on the it wasn't available in Tastyworks to trade or to buy. Riot, yeah, another stock that's really linked to Bitcoin. As you can see here, Bitcoin's kind of recovering just a hair here. It's still down nearly $5,000, just a hair above 10% lower here. We're seeing this as well here on the Riot. We'll see on how this one opens up tomorrow. Really much going to be tied to Bitcoin. I think most folks know here. That 200 EMA has already been broken. This thing was trading around $3 last year, and basically November timeframe, and has ran up to $80. Okay, it's just retreating, and a lot of weak hands are getting pushed out of it. Again, that FOMO is real. Pandemic, parabolic. Swift move higher, a little bit of chop, and now we're seeing those sellers kind of coming in here. Again, I'm not too familiar with their philosophies or their analytical what the company does or what they can perceive or what they can do for the cost of Bitcoin on how on gaining exposure within the crypto mining industry. So I'm not 100% sure about that. Lumber's too high. Makeshift, yeah, lumber's definitely very high. QCOM, yeah, that thing has been very not much fun to have here. Luckily, I'm playing this with like selling some premium in here. We've kind of been holding this 200 EMA here and the 618 here, so around 125. So if we can, in the short term, honestly, we're looking for 125 to hold here, Daniel. 125. If that doesn't start holding and starts kind of swinging lower here, 125, that could easily go back to on to 120 to even $112. But I think it hasn't really covered like a lot of the other like tech NASDAQ stocks that happened in that pullback in February, March, and April. I think it's just a little bit of lagging here. We'll see how this one plays out, but this is a definitely one I like a little bit longer term here. Ben's asking for BLOK. This is the ETF you're talking about. Okay, yeah, looks very much like Bitcoin. This is a great look. Like if I put a Bitcoin chart on top of this, it looks very much coming forth here. We're looking for that again, that support. Like if we look at the Bitcoin chart, that this won't be exactly like it. But the Bitcoin is around the 89 EMA, but it's same kind of pattern. But we'll see if this does break here. Basically around $43, we could easily see this print down to $40. It's going to be the next level of support. But again, not exactly sure on how this one is perceived or how this one ETF is built or what it's tied to or how they allocate their funds. So it could be just other blockchain technology or other stuff within the crypto space. So I don't know if it's a full-fledged Bitcoin replica there. Oh, you got out of Riot? Fantastic, Makeshift. Yeah, MP. I love me some MP. This one has been a very bumpy ride here. I'm not going to lie with you. Very much. I thought I understood the fundamental story. I'm trying to stick to the fundamental story, but I think sadly that people are getting this too much linked up with the SPAC attack, the SPAC syndrome, the high escalate of SPAC stuff, and just the negativity that comes with SPACs. I think this, because again, it's somewhat of a newer stock here. Coming through here is this would be performing a little bit better being a rare earth material mining company, but this thing has just been really much just being down here. Looking for initially speaking, that 27 to 25.80 to hold here. If that doesn't hold, this momentum, which is pretty strong, could continue to take us down here to below 22.50 to even maybe $20 again. To really see this pattern to kind of break out, because again, if we look here in the short term since the February, March kind of time frame, it has not been able to get above that 21 EMA. So that trend is kind of just continuously kind of pushing us lower there. Lumber prices need to be investigated. Yeah, and I think we need to start getting a better treaty with Canada, because a lot of our softwoods from Canada has a pretty large markup on it, if I remember right. DraftKings very much kind of free falling here as well. We could get a dead cat bounce if we start breaking above 46 to 48, but this is something I want to be very careful about. I want to be a little bit hesitant here before I just kind of go out and buy this one. First of all, I don't know too much about sports betting, and I'm not a huge fan of sports, so it's not really my cup of tea. But I know Kathy Wood has been buying this one hand over fist. But again, her time horizon's 5 years, she says. But she lets them. And I'm not going to go into Kathy Wood stuff. But this is definitely something that's been very beaten down. On the weekly chart, it's kind of hitting a very large low here around $41 would be the significant level of support here if we do see it kind of a bounce kind of come through there. Snowflake, yes, this is the thing I don't like about commentators. A lot of people are saying, oh, this is the stock of 2020. Everyone needs to own Snowflake. You remember this POS thing that came public that day and went up to like 319, and of course we saw that for a little bit, but it's been crashing down ever since then. This is supposed to be like the SaaS company of them all. It's supposed to have the best leader, the best captain driving the boat here, but it's just been a very much of a mess of a stock here. The story hasn't really been the way I understood it, and the way it hasn't been portrayed fairly well on how much highlight and how much love it got. And we'll see how that one plays out. MP was a SPAC, wasn't it? Am I mistaken, Makeshift? I thought it was a SPAC offer because Chamath Palihapitiya did an offer on it. I thought it did. But with snow coming through here, the IV is super high here. The trend is just kind of continues going lower here. I'm a little hesitant here because we got the earnings coming out the end of May here. Again, that 21 EMA here has been a little bit of overhead resistance here, so around 215 to 220. That would be a level to kind of start seeing it kind of break out and move higher here. And we'll see if it does recover from that. But again, and earnings could really kind of turn the story around. But again, this thing I think just has I don't even know what analysts are saying on it now. It just kind of just turned that whole point off on what other people are thinking about it. Free paper cuts. What's up, my dude? David, what's up, my friend? SPY. Yes, SPY. SPY, look at that beautiful trend, my friend. We're holding that 21 to 34, even the 50 SMA here, and it's continued to climb here. In the short term, we saw that hit around the 50 SMA here on that previous Wednesday here. We saw that little kick move higher here, initially looking for that movement to 420. Are you sure about that, Alpaca? I just Googled this. I didn't read the article, Alpaca, but I'll put it in here. won't let me send it. Dang it. Can I do a small link here? Hold on. Wonderful, wonderful. Why does it go to email? Come on, Yahoo, you're better than that. Like, this is ridiculous. Their code to link this. Just type in MP was a SPAC, and there's like a Yahoo article saying on how the SPAC merger took MP public. It won't let me post it because it's over 250 characters. Yeah, so SPY, nice little bounce off the 50 SMA here. Again, SPY is a little bit larger conglomerate of what the market's looking at. So it's not like your NASDAQ or your RUT. Like the SPY is multiple different industries, and a lot of them are the larger industries, very heavy on tech and financials. So and the smallest components are like the healthcare not supplements, but the healthcare and like some industrial stuff. But SPY is the best way to like look at the overall market, especially in the world. Initially speaking, here, nice little strong bounce here. We'll see how this comes into next week. As of right now, the futures for the 500 is just a hair below at 0.25 little basis points there. Daniel's asking for CCL. Let's talk about the cruise lines. I think these mother truckers could be moving fairly higher. Again, they don't have trucks on them, but these mother boats, these boats and hoes. I just thought of Step Brothers. Great movie. You cannot make that movie. I need to rewatch it because a lot of people have said that they cannot make that movie today. Anyways, CCL coming in for some initial support around $25.30 here. If we do not see that hold here, which I do not see that, I do see that happening because again, this stock was trading around 48-ish range, but then when the pandemic hit, this has just been a rat race to the bottom here. Sat and great enough that it's kind of come back here a little bit, somewhere in the halfway point. Excuse me. I was about to sneeze there and yawn at the same time. If this does want to come back and we get some staying power here, I think this could, again, hold above that 25-ish range and really break out above 30. So if it does break above 30, which I think it can, we're looking for $30 plus in the next couple weeks and potentially trying to reach that $36 range. Again, if we start seeing these bookings coming in, since it's already had earnings the beginning of last month, we're going to have to kind of wait, but they are pretty positive. And I believe is it Norwegian or CCL CEOs on Jim Cramer quite a bit, so we might get some more data or more positive notions from there. Looking at the old Redfin. Yeah, Redfin, Zillow, both kind of been struck down for housing bubbles, concerns, or whatever. Like I don't know why. This stock got a little bit ahead of itself. Now really substantially breaking down on their book or their earnings here. They're actually losing money for the last 2 quarters that were positive, but now they're losing a little bit here. This could be a spend. Again, I don't know the whole fundamental story behind this. Initially speaking here, the chart here, we're coming down to some initial support here. It is not the strongest support because again, you're still seeing the 5 and 8 moving averages pretty aggressively pulling down here to the south side. We want to start seeing these kind of level off and start trading like parallel to the ticks here and maybe see that bottom come in place at that range there. But as of right now, this is still looking to kind of continue to kind of level, go down here a little bit. Some levels to kind of level off here would be around that $50 range, and we can kind of build a nice little baseline there, and we can see on how that one plays out there. Because again, Zillow kind of looks at the same kind of chart here. So we go to Z, same kind of pattern, not as aggressive downward pull here. I'm more of a fan of Zillow than Redfin. I love using the Zillow app, honestly. It's a great way to look on what's housing's doing in your area or in your dream area. We're looking for some level of support here around 110. But again, the moving average is a little bit still pointing down pretty aggressively on this chart as well. RSI and volume zone also are both kind of beaten down and not in the world's more bullish territories. But this could be a level if you're a little bit more risky around that 110 to 105 range to maybe sell some premium in that range there. Let's do a couple more, ladies and gentlemen, and then we'll call it a night here. It is been streaming for about an hour-ish here, and then we can just definitely would like to do a live stream sometime this week as well, again during midweek. I think people do appreciate that, kind of give like a midweek update there from time to time. And let's see here. This is okay. Norwegian Cruise Lines, same kind of pattern here as well, like we just saw with Cruise, with a CCL, same kind of pattern, but here potentially kind of building up here to kind of get a nice little push higher here. There's another one I wanted to look at. Oh, excuse me. Dropbox is one. Dropbox, very interesting one here is coming in as well. We're seeing it kind of hold here, the 89 EMA here on $24.80. If we do see this kind of rebound here and get some positive movement, this thing could kind of kick higher here as well. Again, it came up on a couple of short squeeze. Another short squeeze that I saw is kind of coming through potentially is KOSS. All right. We just saw this one kind of rank shop higher in the first month of the year, January. Fairly high still short position. I believe it's still over 35% short. So if there is another due come date for the cost of holding the short coming through, we could see some selling ensued here. We did see a little bit of that come in on Thursday and kind of come into Friday here. But if we do see that continue here, I think we could see that run up to $20 to $22 easily, potentially if it does blow up to $30 quite easily with KOSS. Again, very speculative trade, kind of hoping and praying a short squeeze kind of plumbs into that one. Because talking about short squeezes, AMC, this is the movie theater that everyone thought that's going to be canceled. Everyone knows going to be going to the movie theater anymore. Of course, this has been falling even before the pandemic, actually. And this was just trading around $8. But ever since it's got an influx of cash and just enormous amount of people buying into the company, the stock here, we're seeing it really strongly rebound here. And not the world's crazy kind of pattern here like you would expect to see in like a short squeeze. It's some reasonable levels here. So we're talking about like $13.30 here. If that can hold here, that's going to be some previous levels of resistance that we've seen it fail here. So we saw it here. We saw it here and here where we saw that really large burst to that $20 range and then came right back down here and then kind of leveled off here to the 21 to 34, then built up again, hit that range, came back to the 21.34. Potentially, we do see that fail here again. We don't see that boost or that follow through around 13.30. We can easily see it come back to around that $10 range from these price targets that we're currently looking at. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have any more stocks within the chat, I greatly appreciate everyone coming out. Franklin and Chris, thank you for the donations. Greatly do appreciate that. Again, if you haven't already, check out the Discord. Completely free, no obligations. Just come out, hang out with some other great people. We talk stocks, trading, snacks, hiking. What did we talk about last week? Some games that we were looking at to buy, waiting for Battlefield 6 news to drop, all kinds of fun stuff. So again, hopefully we'll see you guys around soon, and I'll see you guys on the next video or the next live stream. Have a great trading week, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.